Welcome to Tuesday Talk with Terri, where empowerment and hope are keys to transformation and wholeness. Here's your host, Terri Hamman.
So today we're going to talk about what coaching is and what coaching is not. So again, I just want to welcome you. I'm so excited that you joined me for day 2 of the launch of my Hope and Fitness coaching, where I hope to give some wisdom and insight to what coaching is and to what coaching is not. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to invite you to grab a cup of your favorite beverage and let's gather around the table for some real talk. One of my greatest joys is to get to know the hearts of people, especially the hearts of women. When I was growing up, one of my favorite things was when our extended family gathered together, and my grandmother, on my mother's side, we would get together in big gatherings for birthdays and the holidays. But whenever we were there, my grandmother would find a room in whosever house we were at, or a place by the pool, and she would engage each person in a one-on-one conversation. And then as we were talking, others might drift in. Yet the purpose of those conversations was that my grandmother sincerely and earnestly wanted to know how you were doing. You see, she wasn't interested in the niceties or the congenialities, like I'm good and everything's fine. She wanted to engage in real conversation, and she knew how to get to the heart of the matter. My grandmother loved the Lord, and she loved her family, friends, and people in general. And there was no greater aim or joy than for her to know that her family, individually and corporately, were walking with the Lord. My grandmother always made herself available to us, and she listened intently. And when she spoke, it came from her heart, and her words were always full of biblical wisdom, heartfelt understanding, and the Holy Spirit discernment. She always made you feel as if you were the most important person in the room, and that what you had to say mattered, that your life mattered. Because whether you were a believer or not, my grandmother knew every life mattered, not only to her, but also to God. I loved these talks with her. And so when she passed from this life to her eternal destination in heaven, where she encountered the face of Jesus and the holiness of God, I asked my brother, Larry, who's going to carry on Grandma's legacy? And he simply and immediately responded, "Sis, it's now on you." Me? I responded. Who was I to carry such a bright and burning torch of love and heartfelt concern and care and conversation with others? Well, I'm not sure if it was intentional or if it just happened, but somehow I found myself modeling what had been modeled for me. I found that God had and has given me a heart to know and love others and to hear how they are really doing beyond all the niceties and congenialities. Yes, we all need to start there, but we don't need to stay there. It's such a privilege to be able to go deeper into conversation with people, to get below the surface and to talk about real life, the highs and the lows and everything in between. Why? Because people matter and their stories matter. Because God is the creator of all life, and he has a plan and a purpose for every life, whether you are living that plan and fulfilling that purpose or not. You see, God's main aim for each individual is to know him intimately and to love him deeply and to enjoy him forever. But that all depends on us. Will we choose him? We know he's chosen us and given us the very breath in our lungs. Yet many reject that truth and refuse to humble themselves before him. And if you want to know more about that, please go to my website and send me an email or go to my social media at Coach Terri Hamman and direct message me. And I would love to share the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ with you. Not only has God called us into fellowship with him, but he has also called us to live in community with one another and to share not only in the joys of life, but also in the difficulties and the disappointments, that we might encourage one another and lift one another up when we fall. Yet, in order to do that, we need to be good listeners. And good listeners don't rush to share their opinions, knowledge, or experiences. They listen. They listen with their ears while engaging the Spirit of God and speak only when it's necessary or when the Lord imparts his wisdom to them. That, my friends, is why coaching is so exciting to me. As a certified professional Christian life and fitness coach, I have the great opportunity to hear the hearts of women of all ages and to champion them either one-on-one or in small groups to discover and pursue their God-given dreams and desires with excellence. I believe that God has led me to this new role as a certified professional Christian life and fitness coach because I know firsthand the struggles associated with our roles as women, as wives, moms, employees, and friends. The struggles that can prevent us at times from living the abundant life that God has called us to live. I believe that God is going to use my years of experience in coaching others one-on-one or in groups settings to help women like you get unstuck and overcome difficulties, doubts, and fear, and to help you fulfill your God-given dreams and desires to the glory of his praise. And so I stand on tiptoes with great excitement and anticipation of God's glorious gifts that are about to unfold as together we explore God's purpose and plans for the passions he has implanted within you that are waiting to be pursued with his excellence. So let's talk about coaching. What about coaching is about what coaching is and is not, and how it differs from counseling, consulting, mentoring, and discipling. You see, coaching is the art and practice of enabling individuals and groups to make forward movement, to get from where they are to where they want to be. Coaching helps clients expand their vision, build their confidence, unlock their potential, increase their skills, and take practical steps forward toward their goals. Unlike counseling or therapy, coaching is less threatening, less concerned about problem solving, and more inclined to help people reach their potential. Coaching focuses on the person's present, and the coach and the client work together in partnership to help the client discover and define their God-given dreams and desires and to move towards them in the future, in the present and the future. So unlike coaching, counseling focuses on problems, dealing with conflicts, insecurities, spiritual struggles, and emotional issues such as depression, anxiety, and anger. Counseling aims at fixing what was wrong or what is wrong by focusing on the cause of the problems that arise from the past and about bringing healing and stability. In this situation, the counselor is the expert who treats patients and provides healing and directs and guides the client. And counseling frequently deals with recovering from past trauma. The client looks to the counselor as the expert. And this is most often performed by people with expertise in psychology and those who have therapeutic skills. The difference here is that while counseling deals with the negative psychology, coaching deals with the positive psychology and helps people move to higher levels of fulfillment. Coaching focuses on possibilities and looks at people where they want to go in the future. Christian coaches focus on finding fulfillment, enhanced performance, team building, vision casting, career growth, and reaching one's goals and dreams. Enabling people to reach their goals while focusing on the present situation and the future possibilities. Reaching goals, getting unstuck, and turning dreams into a reality. Coaches and clients are co-equals who work together to bring about change. And the best coaching is done by people with training in such coaching skills as listening, questioning, and encouraging. And therefore, a certified professional life coach is always the best choice. Now, what's the difference between coaching and consulting? Good question. A consultant is an expert who analyzes by looking at data and does research and makes recommendations. In contrast, coaching is much more focused on the individual or the group being coached. The coach does not diagnose the situation or does not give advice. Also, a coach does not need to be an expert in the area that concerns those being coached. Instead, the coach's main focus is on being a good listener and the ability to understand, to ask insightful questions, and to summarize what has been said while guiding by discovery without giving instructions as much as possible. You see, skilled coaches lead the client to look at his or her own situation and reach conclusions on their own about what to do and how they will do it, how to implement the actions that are necessary to reach their goal. So in this process, the coach is the good listener, asks good questions, is an encourager, and a cheerleader. Challenging and seeking the accountability of the one whom they are working with. The coach is not there to give expert advice or direction. Now let's take a minute and look at the difference between coaching and mentoring. Today, mentoring is more popular among Christians who are commanded by God through his word, particularly in Psalms 145, verse 4. It says, one generation will commend your works to another. They will tell of your mighty acts. Also in Titus, we find that the Apostle Paul was writing to Titus, who was pastoring a new church, on how to utilize the first generation Christians and to teach and to model and to raise up the next generation of believers. Likewise, in the scripture, we find that women were to teach, older women were to be reverent in the way that they were to live. They were not to be slanderers. They were to love their husbands and children and to be self-controlled, pure. They were to be busy at home and to be kind. And they were to mentor the younger women. They were to lead by example, but also to teach by word. Their instructions were to help model and to disciple the next generation of believers on how to live a Christian life. So mentors are seasoned believers who come alongside of new believers or less seasoned believers and build a relationship and teach and train them on how to grow spiritually while living the Christian life. In the business world, mentors are more established and successful leaders who take on the task of guiding clients, their proteges, in their professional growth, and are usually compensated for what they produce, not for the time they spend developing others. And so as a result, executives and managers are looking for coaches outside their companies and their vocations. You see, a major difference between a mentor and a coach is that a mentor works as an expert, while a coach assumes the client is the one best able and most likely to discover direction and move forward with some guidance. Therefore, coaching is for people who are basically well-adjusted, emotionally healthy, functioning fairly effectively, but wanting to make changes and improvements in their lives. It addresses the issues that the person being coached would like to consider, but are not limited to personal development, career enhancement, relationship building, spiritual growth, living a healthy lifestyle, life's balance, decision making, and achieving short-term or long-term goals. Well, now let's talk about discipleship. Discipleship is more focused than either mentoring or coaching. Discipleship focuses on biblical truth and spiritual disciplines to new believers, or to those who are not as spiritually mature in their faith or Bible knowledge. And though there are different ways of approaching discipleship, most often there are a set of course studies that are usually executed on a limited time frame and based on a teacher-student type relationship. In contrast to discipleship, coaching is about career development, getting unstuck, developing and reaching corporate and personal goals, health and well-being management, managing conflict, getting through life's transitions, clarifying vision, and building better relationships. And these are not the main goals of discipleship. Though a client may hire a coach to help them live a more spiritually disciplined lifestyle. I love this quote from Patrick Williams and Diane Mendez from the Institute of Life Coach Training. It says, counseling or therapy deals mostly with a person's past and trauma and seeks healing. Consulting deals mostly with problems and seeks to provide information, expertise, advice, strategies, and methodologies to solve them. Mentoring deals mostly with succession training and seeks to help someone do what the mentor does. Coaching, though, deals mostly with the person's present and seeks to guide him or her into a more desirable future. And coaching is most effective when the client has a desire to grow and to change, and may or may not have made efforts, right, to change on their own. We know that in the last year, 2020, many goals and dreams have been unfulfilled because of the world that we're living in. And so looking forward into the new year, looking forward into 2021, as we approach it, I want to ask you, are you open to discovering and defining some of your dreams and goals? Are you looking for support and accountability in meeting them? Do you feel stuck and have a desire for more direction and passion for life? If you answered yes to any of these questions, coaching may be exactly what you are in need of. And as a certified professional Christian life and fitness coach, I seek to champion women of all ages who are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or are struggling to live their God-given purpose and dreams. And so in our sessions, it's my heartfelt desire to help you discover, define, and take action towards health and wholeness, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And we'll do this by identifying your strengths and encouraging and equipping you to pursue your passions so that you too can achieve your God-given dreams and desires with excellence. And if you're not in need of coaching at this time, I just ask that you please feel free to share my new career path with your friends and with your family, with those that you believe might benefit from my coaching services. Some of you might be saying, well, I see that you're a Christian coach. Do you work with people who are not Christians? Yes, I work with people from all backgrounds. My own faith is an important part of my story. And I acknowledge that the spiritual side of a person is critically relevant to how life is lived. My perspective is that God creates each person with unique talents and gifts that should be celebrated and used to live the story you are meant to live and share with others. So thank you for joining me here again for the second day of the launch of my Hope and Fitness Coaching. Hope stands for HOPE, as you know, hope is spelled, but hope, helping others pursue excellence. We will not reach perfection on this side of heaven, but God does ask us to strive to live an excellent life. And so when we partner with him and we partner with others who come alongside to lift us up, we can live our best lives. We can live the abundant life. And so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those now. But I also encourage you to go to www.terrihamman.com. And you can sign up for a discovery session there. A discovery session is where you and I would just talk about what are your dreams, what are your desires, and how can you go about fulfilling those things that I believe the Lord has implanted in your heart, in your head. And we can talk about that, and we can see if coaching would be a good fit for you. Also, you can follow me on social media at Coach Terri Hamman on Instagram and on Facebook. And I would love, you can direct message me. I would love to hear from you and see how I could come alongside of you and how I can encourage you in living a healthy and whole life. So before I sign off here, if there have any questions, I have a few moderators that are helping me out here who will let me know what those are, and then we can have a conversation.
Terri, can you speak a little bit to the fitness side of it in terms of the fitness coaching? What does that entail? What do those packages look like? Can you give us just a bit of insight into that, or will you be talking about that more this week?
I will. Okay, great question. So I will be talking about that more this week. But the fitness side of that is that, as I shared last night, and if you weren't here last night, you can go back and listen to that on Facebook. But I share my background as a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor, also as a Weight Watcher leader, and so nutrition counselor. So I have a background in fitness, and the Lord really brought the faith and fitness together for me through Revelation Wellness. And so I am a Revelation Wellness instructor. And so because I do believe that through the scripture, that the first place that we need to start is with our spiritual well-being, and that with our spiritual well-being, we're also called to live a healthy and whole life. And I'm pretty sure that all of us really want to be healthy and whole. And so on the fitness side of that, there are packages, as you'll see on my site, that If you wanted to sign up for any of the packages, they have different benefits or different things that are available to you. One would just be that you and I could have a discovery session and talk about what your goals are for your health and well-being, and maybe look at your nutrition for the last 3 days. And I would just ask that you would journal that and let me kind of oversee that, and be able to see, where you're at and how that's working. And then to find out how is your fitness going, or maybe it's not going at all. And then maybe write out some of those workouts for you so that you would be able to work out, at home. Obviously we're not in gyms, or not very many gyms are open to be able to do that. So I'm available for that. Also available through the packages to be able to take you through and also do a coaching session with you, right? Not just to kind of give you a written out program, but to coach you through how are you going to implement those things. So this is what I like to, I go back to my personal training and my Weight Watcher training, but a lot of time, and this is how coaching just marries all of this perfectly, is that it's one thing for me to tell you what I do, right? Pretty much we all know that eating a banana over a cookie is the right thing, right? But we don't do it. So how can we set ourselves up to make the better choice, right? We all know that it would be a lot better for us to get up and walk for 30 minutes than to sit on the couch and watch TV for 30 minutes. But why don't we do the thing that we know we should do? And so that's where a coach comes alongside and helps identify some of the barriers that kind of get in the way, right? And then you are the one that sets up how you feel you can break through that barrier. So we talk and I listen. You talk and I listen. And we discover, that's why it's a discovery session. We discover and create, my hope is to create an awareness. And through creating an awareness of what is going on or what needs to be done, what you want to be done, to then create a vision. Like, what do you see on the other side of this? And then the strategy on how to get there. And again, like I said earlier, it's just me telling you what to do, because something worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because our lifestyles are all different. And we have a lot of different things on our plate. And so what works for one is not going to work for all. But yet you and I can come up together with a plan that would work for you personally. So it really is digging into your personal life and really coming up with what works best for you. For me, I like to get up and exercise early in the morning. But for some people, they're up early in the morning and they're off to work. So that is not a good time for them. So if I were to say to you, you need to work out in the morning, and you're like, well, that's never going to work. I'm never going to exercise. So you kind of throw that out the window. I'm going to share this. I had a lady in the gym, and I'll never forget this. And I remember, asking her, okay, what do you like to do? What piece of equipment? You had the stair stepper, you had the bicycle, you had all these different treadmill, we had all this. And she's like, well, I don't like any of them. And I'm like, okay, all right, fair enough. You don't like any of them. Let's just spend a few minutes on, let's spend 3 minutes on this one, and because she really she didn't know what she liked or didn't like, right? So we just spent some time, 3 minutes on this one, 3 minutes on that one, until we found out what worked for her. But for me to say, go ride the bike for 30 minutes and you don't like the bike, how long are you going to stay on there? You're not going to stay on it very long. Or if you don't like to ride the treadmill, don't you wish we could ride the treadmill? But no, if you don't like the treadmill, then how long are you going to stay on it? Not very long. So the key is to find the thing that you like to do, the thing that will encourage you to do more of it. In fact, actually, I'm going to share this story. I was with Kaiser, and I was working with, her name was Nancy Young, and I think it was called the Freedom from Fat program at Kaiser at the time, many years ago. I don't want to age myself. And there was a man that was there. It was an older gentleman at the time, and he came to this class, and he was just grumpy as all get out. And I was there to teach the exercise portion, and he was just grumpy. And so he used to make jokes that, well, I do my 8-inch curls every day after I get off work, talking about his having his beer or whatever it was he was drinking at the time, whatever. He's like, I do my 8-inch curls every day. So again, grumpy, just was really resistant. So I had a talk with him, and I said to him, can you tell me what you used to like to do when you were a kid? And he said, which shocked me, right? He said, well, when I was a kid, I was in high school. I used to love to run the bleachers. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, wow. I was really shocked. I was surprised that that's what he said. But anyways, that's what he liked to do, run the bleachers. So I said, okay. Do you have any stairs where you're at? Yeah, I live in an apartment. There's stairs there. I said, do you think you could walk the stairs? I said, yeah. He said, there's one side it goes up, but 2 sides, but I can walk up, go down. I said, okay. Can you think you can do that a couple days this week? Yeah, I can do that a couple days this week. Okay. What days do you think you'll do that? I want to do it Tuesday, Thursday. Okay. So the next week, he came back, and I asked him, I said, did you get to walk the stairs? He said, oh yeah, I walked the stairs. I said, you did? He said, yeah. I said, how many days? He said, I walk the stairs every day. I said, you walk the stairs every day? He said, yeah, I walk the stairs every day. He said, now all the little kids in the apartment building, they're walking the stairs with me. He said, do you know that I haven't been out of the house since my wife passed away? He said, now I know the kids in the apartment, and now I'm getting to exercise, and they're exercising with me. What a life-changing moment for that man. The grumpy man was really grieving. He didn't really know what to do with his life at that moment in time. But he wanted to be healthy, and he didn't know how to go about it. I just happened to be placed in that time, just reminding him of something that he used to like to do. And he got out and moved. And he had friends. All the little kids in the apartment complex. That might be you. Maybe you just don't know how to get started. Maybe you just need somebody to come alongside of you. That's what I want to do. I want to come alongside of you and encourage you and help you to live an abundant life. So again, I want to thank you so much. Please go and fill out a discovery session. Let's have it just, if you feel like coaching is the thing that you need, I want to be here for you, and I want to get you started. It's going to be a great new year, and we're going to watch God's glorious gifts unfold together.
Thanks for listening to Tuesday Talk with Terri. For more resources and to learn more about Terri, you can check out her website at terrihamman.com, or you can follow the link in the show notes. If you really enjoyed listening, make sure to subscribe and tell your friends.